speech. We now request Imam Malik Mujahid ji, Chairman of the World Parliament in Chicago, to speak on the subject which he has suggested. Let's take the world forward.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you. Alhamdulillah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You know, recently I read an article that young people are leaving Facebook. And I wonder why. Now and then all the Swamis are going there. Normally when I speak to you, good number of them on this stage, and I find myself quite uncomfortable. But I feel comfortable here. This shows the respect which you have for your leaders and elders. And it's a good sign to have in the eyes of many elders. I don't know about the younger people. But you seems to be quite patient people as well. You waited for long for program to start, and you continue to wait in respect of people to finish speaking. This does not seem to be a trait I have seen in many other nations. So thank you so much. I would share some few thoughts with you. First thing is that in the past, long ago, there used to be multiple civilizations existing at the same time. There used to be Indian civilization and the Chinese civilization and the Islamic civilization, and they will coexist at the same time. They were essentially divided by the absence of a communication at large. That time is fast fading away. And civilization at this moment is one civilization. It's called human civilization. No, maybe this name is not used quite that way, but it's one civilization. News get across pretty fast, as Swamiji mentioned. People come across. I remember, I hope this is my last sermon. The Friday I gave a sermon in downtown Chicago, headed for the airport, and since then I'm constantly speaking. So the communication and moving, it is changing civilization in the way a person might invent something in Ghana. He may patent it in the United States and get it manufactured in maybe India or China or somewhere else. And he is looking for worldwide success. God has told us in the Quran, as being Imam, I can refer to that God created all human beings as one people. This is a concept repeated throughout the Quran. And it's the people who divided themselves up. And then God says that while you are there, compete with each other in goodness, in contributing. And whatever disputes you had, leave it for us to decide who was right, who was wrong. And there are etiquettes of behavior. But one of the challenge world is facing as it is coming closer, it's realizing there are many cultures, many races, and many faiths in that scale. And there used to be an old concept, and that concept was born in Europe when the sun spotlight was pretty hot there, and markets started growing, and people have this farming and this wool, and they will trade, and they will start making their small estates, and pretty soon they started fighting over territory. For 300 years they fought. And they continue to do that in something called World War I, World War II. Essentially, they were European wars, fought all over the world, including India, and many Indians died in there. That was an idea coined several hundred years ago in Europe, in which nationalism took the form of so rigid oneness and too much proud in one's culture, one's language, one's race, whatever it was. Sometimes these people were all one race but fighting on whatever they were fighting over. Gradually they learn, as world is moving forward towards one civilization, some people are ahead of it, some people are holding on to old tribal feeling and national feeling and fighting each other on little thing here and little thing there. So when I request, some lady came very nicely, asked me, what's your topic? And I am very thankful to her if she is still around, because she gave me a moment to think. And that moment I came up with this idea, let's take the world forward. You say, what am I going to take the world forward? Well, it is the you, and only you, who are capable of taking it forward. If human civilization is becoming one, and everyone is contributing to it, even teaching Hindi as well as English to tribals, I wonder where your students are and how they are contributing to this civilization. One of the things people are discovering in the world where changes are happening in the global village, that diversity and how do we deal with it? Some people are fearful of diversity. They are worried about the loss and future. They are worried of the future. They are fearful and they are thinking they might lose. America today, all children, majority of children under 5-year-old, majority of children under 5-year-old are children of color. And one thing you know, children know how to do well is they grow up. So American census projects that in 1943 or maybe earlier, minorities in America are going to be majority. So whatever is happening at the civilizational level, at human level, at larger scale in the global village is happening right there in America. Result are two reactions. One reaction which you saw in the shape of the President Obama, that a black person is the president of our country. The other type of fear is that the same black person received 300% more death threat than President Bush did. And 21 million people last year and a year before, every year more people are buying guns. So one response to diversity is fear. Other response to diversity, which is winning at this moment in America, accept the diversity. Diversity is going to be as American as apple pie, I tell them. Now, in that world in which civilization is one and humanity is one and tribalism and nationalism are past, there is a danger. The danger is that who is going to win? People of the future who connect with each other, who tweet each other, who meet with each other, who welcome each other, they will take the world forward, or the old ideas of Nazism and nationalism and fascism are one type or the other, and fear of diversity is going to take over. That's going to be the dilemma for the future of the civilization. And here's an idea. In the world, in one civilization, there are many, many faiths. There is going to be continuously competition between faith. And yesterday, while here, I was noticing When I talk about faith in America, I mention Muslims first. Being a Muslim, it didn't occur to me. I only noticed when a Jaina mentioned, she is a Jaina, and talking about that, people say, oh, she mentioned Jaina first. And then I saw Ramakrishna people mentioning something first. That's all right. That's natural. That's acceptable. But what I also see, there are some people who are dedicating themselves for humanity, no matter which name you mention first, to accept the diversity of humanity. And that's the people of faith. And that's where the interfaith have become coin of the word. Interfaith is becoming hot. Everyone is interested in interfaith. Everyone wants to adopt the vocabulary of interfaith. Even those people who bomb Iraq for last 20 years, they're using the vocabulary of interfaith and asking American people of different faith and interfaith to go and preach peace and diversity. And I tell them, I will not go until you stop bombing people, because bombing destroys all the diversity which people of faith trying to celebrate. So interfaith is an instrument to take the world forward. And that's what we do in America. Interfaith organizations are flourishing. A survey was done by Harvard by a dear friend of mine, and she says that in some cities of 5 million population, we have 120 plus interfaith organizations. And interfaith is not just about the theory that you talk about your faith. Interfaith is practical. Interfaith are the people who stand up for the civil rights of all people. When a temple is attacked, or a gurdwara is attacked, or a mosque is attacked, or just like last month when 10 black churches were burned down, who stands up? Is the people of faith, hand in hand with each other, love in the heart, and openness to embrace the diversity of America and the world. They come forward. A girl in Chicago area, her name is Fatima Wright. She is a Muslim, and she sent me an email that she's raising money to rebuild the black churches. I said that was a neat idea. So I said, how much she raised? She raised $30,000. So I put my name with that, and within a week she raised about $100,000 to build black churches. So somebody sent me this fatwa, how come Muslims don't believe in Christianity? Why you're helping them build the churches? You see, this is where the people of future comes. Fatima is a 23-year-old, studying in college. These are the younger people. Younger people embracing the future, showing the future, and guiding people like me to come forward and stand with them. And when I stand with them, trust me, I feel young. Little more young than I'm feeling right now. It's too much privilege involved with this moment. So second point I'd like to share with you, then there are certain principles for the future of one human common civilization. Certain value must be common to all people. As a Muslim, I was taught that by my mother. And that she told me justice, rights of neighbors, right of poor. There is no Islam or non-Islam involved there. All faith, all people, people with no faith, these values have to be common values. So when young people are communicating, and sometimes hiding behind a username which nobody knows who you are, you can create a flare which can hurt someone with other faith or other race or other culture or other people. Remember, the world, when it is a global village, you are a citizen of the global village. There are etiquettes of being a good citizen of a global village, and there are ways of really hiding yourself while being a nasty to everybody which you know, since they don't know who you are. Well, you can hide yourself, but will you be able to hide yourself from yourself? That's the question. Another thing I'd like to share with you, be a bit crazy. You know, world has too much rationality in there. You need to loosen up a little bit. just like Gandhi did. So who was this crazy person who's trying to make his own shirt by spinning his own yarn? But America remembers Gandhi. Unfortunately today, when they hear the news of girls being raped, when girls being aborted, India is getting bad name. Because in global village, you cannot hide things. You simply cannot hide these things. This will be all over. And the way the future success will be when we learn to respect each human being, whatever gender that person is, in an honorable way, in a respectable way. So when people were writing about India, I said, I'm not looking where the rape is rising. What I'm looking is that Indians are rising against rape. And that's what I like to appreciate. And that's what I like to There was another crazy person in America. His name is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That crazy person had this idea, he called it a dream. And he would say, I have a dream. And he was in South. South doesn't get much respect in America itself. South is Civil War, North won, South lost, so they don't have much respect. And at the top of it is black. At the top of it is a preacher of a black church. Contribution he has done to human civilization is still need to be known by the citizens of the future civilization. A lot of Indians go to America, right? And a lot of them are citizens. One of them is a governor, one of them is a congressperson. You know what? Brown face would not be allowed to become citizen of America until that crazy person, Dr. King, who knew justice cannot be just for some people. Justice has to be for all. He challenged the laws of America, which will prefer getting white folks from Europe to become citizens of America. And because of his movement, not only America became a better place for civil rights movement, it opened the doors for all people. And that's the reason today America still has sometimes lottery. Have you heard of lottery for American visa? Have you heard of that? Reason it happens is to compensate the past mistakes when the other people were not allowed to come to America and become citizens. That's how America internally started changing, that people of color are going to be a majority in few years. So America is changing, but the civilization as a whole, and that's where the contribution must come from younger people. And I will conclude by 3 requests. First, be a good neighbor. Not just the neighbor in the global village, but the neighbor which can eat together, neighbor who can live together, neighbors who know rights of each other, neighbors who are respectful to each other, neighbor who know directly about from the neighbor what that neighbor's her aspirations are, her views are, her feelings are, where she is heading. Neighbors who know each other just like human beings. Those neighbors in global village unfortunately are still missing. But let's take the world forward, and you're the one who will do that. Second request I have as I conclude is be a good citizen. Good citizen does not mean that my nation is right or wrong. That's the wrong concept of nationalism which Europe gave. Don't hold on to that concept. Right concept of nationalism is that you're proud of your higher ideals. You're proud of whatever good you have, and you want to change whatever bad you have. That's the way you will take the world forward. That's not the way to take the world backward. That's always will take you forward. My dear friends, you have many faith. You have many culture. You're a world of your own in this country. Faith contributes, and faith helps, and faith brings out the best of human beings. Right faith, not just touching the faith and doing nasty. Faith brings out the best of human beings, and interfaith brings out the best of the faith communities. I have seen it from my eyes. I pray at the end, may God open our hearts towards our neighbors, and may God open the hearts of our neighbors towards us. Thank you so much.